Okay. Itam existiko. Good day. It is the early afternoon of Sunday, January 26th, I believe, 2020, in the lunar cycle Kato, the fourth of 7 winter moons. And it's been, I think, 3 days or so since I've made any video posts. And I figured this afternoon I might as well take a little walk out here at the Wilderness Park, see what's happening at the rapids and downstream, and maybe give a bit of an update. Not that a whole lot has transpired in 3 days, but a few things have. Yeah, so let's take a little walk. Let's see what's happening out here. I still haven't looked into that name for rapids in Blackfoot. I don't think about it for some reason during the week, and then I get out here and I'm like, oh yeah, I sure would like a Blackfoot name for this place. Anyway, we'll get there. I try not to dwell on some matters too much because it's fairly frightening, but I recognize that we're into our last week of the Gregorian month of January, and that gives me just this week and the month of February to finish off my work at the studio with this first group of artisans that have been in since August. Their 6-month tour is coming to an end, and we have to transition them, out into trying to become entrepreneurs, and they're probably going to have to work other jobs at the same time as they're doing that, as they're building their businesses, those who decide to actually go that route. But there's a lot on my shoulders at this point that includes ensuring that everybody come out of the program, or as many of them as possible come out of the program with a finished business plan that's up the snub to be submitted to different funding agencies, for potential grants or loans, and etc. That's going to be a tough hurdle in itself, because while there are a few of the group who've finished their plans or nearly finished them, there's a lot who have a lot of work left to do, and I see myself as probably going to be taking on the task of helping them finish that work to get it done in time, while simultaneously prepping for the group that's going to be stepping in after them, because their program is going to end February 28th, and then a new program picks up March 25th. And in between that time, I'm going to take off. Chelsea and I are going overseas for basically a getaway. One of the first vacations actually I've ever had in my life. But and nobody's guessed where we're going yet, by the way. Although there's been a lot of people taking stabs at it, but nobody's got it yet. Anyway, so I got to prep for that. I got to prep for the travel. I got to get these guys done with their program. They still got one more whole art unit to go through. But, we're dealing with a matter of 5 weeks, and it's a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure for that work. And I know that at the same time as that kind of ramps up for the changeover, so too is my small mammal business. I'm going to have to find somebody to who wants to maybe make a few bucks while I'm gone on my expedition with Chelsea, who's interested in working with skunks and such. Maybe somebody out there on YouTube land from Lethbridge is curious about taking that up. But yeah, I'm gonna need a replacement trapper while I'm gone. I think I've lined up babysitting for Polly and Derek and Oscar, so I think I'm good there. Oh, those are geese. But yeah, it's one of the things on, in terms of personal updates and such. One of the things that I haven't been talking about, but that's playing on my mind every day, is this time crunch that I'm coming into. And I know I'll navigate it, but it's going to be a busy time. Let's go check out the rapids. Kind of hanging out here by the rapids. There's several small groups of ducks out here. There's one kind of hugging the edge of this cut bank, and there's another group kind of back here along the ice. I know you can't see them. And there's another group on kind of a ice island here. That's this group. The most prevalent one is mallards. But these other groups on opposite shores, they seem to be some interesting, like, conglomerates of different waterfowl. I think this one might include even a grebe, along with a couple of golden eyes and maybe a mallard or two. I couldn't quite tell. At first, my even said wood duck on one of the mallards. I don't know. They've kind of been drifting this way, and if they get close enough to where I can get them on film with my other camera, I will. Oh, one of them's taking off right now, so I guess that one won't get close enough. But and there's other birds out here, like I say, along the cut bank. I don't know what they are. Tried to glass them with binoculars, but they're still too far away. Either that or if I'm looking into the sunlight, there's just too much brightness, Yeah, there's a couple playing with each other right now that are headed more this way. We'll see, I might get some film of them. I have been, over the last few days, continuing my usual morning nature walk. I haven't done anything in the afternoons. The highlights, I guess, one unfortunate highlight was finding, I think on Thursday perhaps, that somebody had released a domestic rabbit at the parking lot at Spopikami, and pretty good odds are that rabbit's gonna get eaten. Just back at the parking lot now. This is kind of sad. Somebody dropped off a domestic bunny out here. This is not a wild Canadian rabbit. Hey, bunny. Well, we'll see how long it lasts. Whether it can outwit coyote. I don't think so. So that was unfortunate. On the flip side, we saw just this morning, Carol and I out for the morning walk and talk, we saw our first beaver of 2020. Looked like maybe a yearling. At least it didn't seem like a very large beaver. And it was out kind of toward the entrance of the sub-pond canal. Itumistai, the first to dive. That Blackfoot word that I used, itomistai, the first to dive, there's different aspects of it, but this is a name that's associated with some of the Beaver Bundle stories, and it relates to bravery, really being the first to dive out when an enemy comes. Sometimes, I don't know if you've ever experienced it, but I've stepped on a beaver lodge, an occupied beaver lodge before, and had beavers dive out and come out, you know, basically to confront me. See what the heck is on top of their lodge. Probably caving it in a little bit or something. They get mad. So that first to dive out and confront the enemy, itomistai. But then also when the ice breaks, it's considered to be kind of the same thing, the first brave enough to come out. And so I think we already seen that this morning. in that beaver by the sub-pond canal. I think that's about all the nature notes that I had from the last couple of days, the significant things. Oh, one more, and this was also from this morning. There were no geese on the river ice by the high-level bridge. You know, that clan that's been kind of staying there, and then their open water closed up. Still pretty much closed up. There's a little bit of open, but I noticed that at the South Pond Spring, there was a family of 4 geese. I don't know if they come from that group, but I suspect that since they're not with the larger clan, since they're a family of 4, that they are probably the forerunners of the geese that I expect to be coming to the pond in those kind of family groups. You know, gander, goose, and their 2 now adult goslings from last season, 2 or more, of course. We should see these families arriving at Spobikimi, and they're going to start kind of claiming territories, and then the parents, or the nesting couples in some cases, are going to then at some point have to push their offspring away so they can enter back into a new nesting season. So yeah, we might have seen the forerunners of that this morning in the sub-pond canal. These ones are getting pretty close. Maybe I'll fix a camera on them and we'll see. I think those are the mallards. They just came off of that island. But we'll see what else comes around. Yeah, as you can hear, there is a mallard presence on this downstream end. I probably shouldn't even go any closer. I'm just freaking them out. But I will anyway, because I want to see the river too. We're in shadow in the coulee right now. Big clouds covered the sun, and it cools things off significantly right away. Yeah, I think a lot of the waterfowl I'm looking at here is mallards on the river. There's quite a few mallards hanging back for this season. Not a inappropriate risk, I don't think. We had that really cold snap, but that's already over. Tempted to go look at those cliffs again. The fossil hunter in me, but nah. I think I'm gonna head back to the house. Maybe do a little cleaning and stuff. Take it easy for the Sunday. So, probably the last thing I have to update has to do with the fight night. Last night we had fight night 12 here in Lethbridge under Z Promotions, Tom Fiddler's Z Promotions. And he's been kind of on the forefront of pushing bare knuckle boxing. Tried to get, I think, 3 different fights set up for this event, but ultimately was able to get 1, and had to bring fighter from Mexico and one from, it's an Eastern European country. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the name, but this is the Eastern European fella who won the bout. But in any case, you know, having bare knuckle boxing, being kind of at the cusp of bare knuckle boxing. This is our second event in Lethbridge, which is a fairly big deal. There's not a lot of places doing bare knuckle boxing yet. And on the commission, I've kind of been an advocate for it. But yeah, it draws some interest, and the promotion was able to bring in, you know, some very reputable people to be part of the program, including what's her name, Swayze Valentine, the UFC's cut woman, Swayze Valentine, and referee Herb Dean, hey, who you know, it's crazy to think about, but just a week ago, or a week exactly before reffing the fights here in Lethbridge, he was in Las Vegas refereeing for Conor McGregor and Donald Cerrone in the UFC. You know, a really big deal. So it was very cool to see Herb Dean there. We were going to have kind of a bare knuckle boxing workshop, and that was I talked to Herb. He said it was his first bare knuckle boxing event, actually. And I wish it had been a little bit of a different fight. The two were matched. Well, they were matched well. It was difficult for either to figure out the other's strategy. They have 5 rounds, 3-minute rounds, and the Mexican was very, what would you say? You know, very classical technical boxing, you know, in a sense. And the Eastern European was just drawn back with the right hand. He just wanted to launch overhand right, left hook. That's what he wanted. He wanted that combo, you know, and so he was just waiting to launch that combo. And he launched it many times and just blew air. But on one occasion, he got the target pretty square and knocked the Mexican a bit. And then I think he might have popped him with another one, but didn't find quite as much purchase. On the other hand, the Mexican had broken up cuts under both of the guy. It might have been Romania. But shit, I should know it. Anyway, the match, you know, was really a dance, and both guys wanted to find the right range, and they were having difficulty, and so they were playing it safe, and so the crowd was getting upset and booing and all of this kind of thing. And for a first round at bare knuckle boxing, I think, you know, last time what we saw was you know, more like what people would expect to see from bare knuckle boxing. You know, you're going there really to see a spectacle, And when guys are playing it safe, it's actually smart fighting. I applaud both of the guys from last night for doing exactly what they did. You know, they both kept themselves from being really damaged too much, you know. But on the other hand, they could have got in a little bit more, you know. They are getting paid and stuff. It is a show. It's hard to say. It's hard to make that. Where's the line between sport competition and entertainment? Because right now everything that happens in the cage is a little bit both. It's not just one or the other. Not that it's like wrestling in that sense of entertainment or anything, but it's like you have an audience there paying for a spectacle, you know. And they expect fighters to fight, to get, you know, okay, you test your range for one round, but not all 5 rounds, right? So, any case, it was fun. We had the weigh-ins and everything on Friday night. I was the one who weighed in each of the fighters. Chelsea was part of the medical crew. She read their blood pressure and such, and got them prepped for the doctors. And yeah, all around it was a good experience, but it kept me busy and it kept me away from my camera, because I don't really feel like I can, because I have the position of being in, backstage at some of this stuff. I don't feel like I can take out a camera there so much, you know, and actually show what I'm doing. And so didn't make any films. Didn't make any films the last couple of days. But had some experiences, seen a few things outdoors, and fretted a lot over the coming transition that's going to bring me away from my current group, hopefully with them successfully wrapping the business end of the program, and at the same time getting out for some travel, a fairly extended period for me, 2 weeks away. And I know it's going to be hard on Chelsea too, and the kids, because they're not coming with. But in any case, we're going to go have an adventure. And then I got to come back in and jump right in again with another group at the studio, brand new group. And right as my wildlife season starts to really kick off. So I'm kind of stressing out about the couple of months ahead, and it's silly because I have, today and each day to do what I have to do, and that's what you can do, right? So yeah, my attempts to not think about it are not successful. Any case, I'll call that a wrap for this update, and talk to you more this week.